Hey guys, it's James from SportsDataMarket.io coming at you with another sports data analysis tutorial. Today, we're going to be using our NFL API, and the topic of today's video is going to be ranking the top 10 winningest and top 10 losingest teams by their winning percentage going back to 1970. So, looking at our the premium tier of our NFL API, we see that we have access to the NFL Standings API. So let's hop over here to the documentation. Let's open up this endpoint. This is what we're going to be using today. So we're going to use this endpoint to go back to 1970 using this year parameter up until the present day. And we're going to see the top 10 teams based on their winning percentage and the top 10 teams based on their losing percentage. So let's copy this endpoint, head over to VS Code, and let's get coding. So I'm going to be using Python today, and I'm going to be working out of a virtual environment, so you may need to set that up if you haven't. I'm going to be making use of the requests library, so you may need to pip install that as well. And then I'm using the built-in JSON library as well. So the first thing I want to do here is I'm going to create a variable. I'm just going to set it equal to request.get. And I'm going to punch in the endpoint that we just grabbed from the documentation. I'm going to replace the year with an arbitrary year. I'll say 2018. And then down here, I'm going to print out the JSON. This is just so we can see what we're working with this endpoint and how we're going to use it. So let's run the script. And we can see we get back data. So these are the standings for 2018, which is the parameter we punched in. And we see we get it back in the format of the key of the year, followed by a space, followed by the word NFL standings, which maps to a list of these standing objects, which contain things like the standing ID of the team, the year, division, their record, and a lot more data. But what we're going to be focusing on today is this key right here, the winning percentage key. This is going to be what we're going to sort onto. This is going to give us the top 10 and bottom 10 teams based on winning percentage. So going back to VS Code, we can think about what we're going to try to do at a high level. We're going to start from 1970 and loop up until the present day and call this endpoint and then do some data extraction and probably some looping to try to get us a list of all of the NFL standings objects, and then we're going to sort that list, and from that we'll get the top 10 and bottom 10 winningest and top and losingest teams of all time. So I'm going to create a variable called current year and set it equal to 1970. The reason I'm not going to call it start year is because this is going to change as we loop. And then I'm going to have a variable called end year and set it equal to 2025. And then a variable called standings list. And this is going to contain our list of standings objects. Or not quite standings objects because we're going to extract from the standings objects, but we'll see that as the video goes on. And we're going to loop, right, from 1970 up until the present day. So we're going to create this condition. We'll say, while current year is less than the end year, we're going to perform some logic in here. So the first line in here, I'm going to say, is going to be similar to our first line up here on line 4. I'm going to say standing data is equal to, and it's going to be pretty much the same thing as this line, but instead of the hard-coded value like we did up there, I'm going to replace this with our current year, the year we're looping over. And after this, I'm going to extract the JSON. So I'll say standing JSON is equal to standings data.json. Awesome. So this will get us the JSON extracted. And remember the way that it's formatted, we can see that it has kind of a pattern of the year followed by a space, followed by the word NFL standings, which maps to our list. So if we want to get this list, we're going to index by this pattern. So I'm going to create a variable called index string. and set it equal to the casted string of the current year plus a space plus the word NFL standings. So this will allow us to index to try to get that list that we're looking for to iterate over. And so I'll call this next variable standings and set it equal to the standings JSON indexed by our index string. So this will get us this list. And then we want to loop over all of these objects in the list and do some data extraction. So I'm going to say for every object in standings, and then in here is where we're going to want to pull out some data. So some of the data I'm going to focus on, I'm going to want to pull out the team name so we know which team we're talking about, the year, the winning percentage, because this is the key we're going to want to sort on, and then I'm going to want to somehow know the record. So I'm probably going to create a string that's composed of the wins plus the losses plus the ties. And I'll probably put that into a string so it's a little more readable. So let's write the code for that. I'll say team name is equal to the object indexed by the team name. I'll say the year is equal to the object indexed by the year. The win percentage is equal to object indexed by the win percentage. And finally, this record variable, I'm gonna cast the string, the object indexed by wins, plus a separator, plus similarly the casted version of the losses, plus the separator, plus the casted object of ties. So this will get us a record so we can know which record we're looking at when we see the percentage. And the last thing we want to do inside this loop is we want to then append or create an object and append it to the standings list. So we'll say standings list dot append. Then I'm going to create an object with these mappings, team name, year, and so forth. Here. And then finally the record. Map to record. Cool. So that will append it to our standings list. And then to make sure that we're iterating properly, let's increment our current year. So we're going year by year. And this is the logic, the looping logic that we're gonna use. So out here, I'll print the standings list just so we can see if we're make sure we're running error free at this point. But something to note, also comment, yeah, that's all the print statements are commented out. Something to note though, so this is just going to be at this point. Let's see, NFL standings. Oh, typo. Here, NFL standings. I put NF standings. Okay, let's rerun this. See. So assuming this runs without any errors, it's looking good. This is just going to run over the data and give us a really long list of these standings objects. In order to get the top 10 and bottom 10 winningest and losingest teams, we're going to need to sort on that winning percentage key. So when we get this data back, as we see right here, see this is just going to be a lot of data. So it ran error free, that's good, but we don't have it sorted yet. So we're going to make use of Python's sorted function and the reverse parameter to get the data we want. So I'm going to create a variable here. I'll call it top 10 winning teams. And I'm going to set it equal to the sorted function. pass in our standings list, we're going to make use of the lambda feature. And the key we're going to sort on is winning percentage. And then in order to get the last 10, which will be the 10 winningest, we'll say index like this. And then to get the top 10 losingest, it's going to be very similar. I'll say top 10 losing teams. We're still going to sort on win percentage, but we're going to set reverse equals to true. So in one case we're sorting, or in both cases we're sorting on win percentage and in getting the last 10 back, which in one case will get us the 10 winningest teams, and then if we make use of the reverse true equals true, it'll sort them in reverse order. So the last 10 will be the top 10 losingest teams. And so that's pretty much the logic. We could print these out right now, but I want to just make sure that we're looping and so that we can see them printed out in kind of an ordered fashion. So I'm going to create a variable here. I'm going to call it team rank, set it equal to 10. This will kind of be our countdown. So as we loop, I'm going to say for team in our top 10 winning teams, I'm going to print the team rank. So this will give us kind of our countdown: 10, 9, 8, down to 1. And then the team of all of the keys. So team name, and then team of year, and so forth. Win percentage, team of record. And then we're going to want to decrement the team rank each iteration, so we kind of have a countdown. So we'll see from 10 to 1. And then to see the top 10 losingest teams, give it some space. And then the loop is going to be very similar, but we're going to be looping over the top 10 losing teams. So now this script is looking good. Let's run this and let's see what the results say. This will take just a second to run to loop over the data sets. It's going from 1970 up until the present day, which is in the aftermath of the 2024 NFL season. Awesome. And so we can see the top 10 winning teams. Only 2 teams have ever had a perfect record for the regular season: the 2007 New England Patriots and the 1972 Miami Dolphins. A handful of teams have had 1 loss, and we can see how they're ordered by winning percentage. Even though a lot of these teams had 1 loss, right? Some of them were 13-1. The ones that were 15-1 have a higher winning percentage, so they rank higher. And then here we have the bottom 10, led by the New York Jets. Or I shouldn't say led, because they're number 10 rather than number 1. But the top 3, only 3 teams have actually lost every single game. We see the number of 4 teams have had 0 wins, but the Baltimore Colts in 82 had a tie. But yeah, we can see these are some pretty abysmal terrible winning percentages: 0.63, 0.56, flat 0. And conversely, these are some pretty high winning percentage, is 0.938, 0.929. So this is some pretty cool stuff we can do with the API over here at Sports Data Market. Feel free to come over here, create an account. You get 75 calls free of charge. And there's some really cool things you can do, whether it's power an app or a website, or perform some analysis like we did today. So I hope you guys had a really good time watching this video today. I hope to see you guys over at sportsdatamarket.io. Thanks once again for watching, guys. James from Sports Data Market.